Um, I'm doing another Talk the Post for my post Dog Meets Dog, and I just want to let you guys know in the previous videos, my shirt said Michigan Humane Society. I know it's annoying when you can see part of a shirt and can't see the whole thing. This is a winter shirt from the National November National Novel Writing Month that I won a few years ago. I typed 50,000 words in the month of November. Can't exactly say it was a novel, but there you go. Anyways, my latest post, Dog Meets Dog, is about how I had an encounter with a dog behind the school where I run my dogs sometimes. Now, I know I'm not supposed to have my dogs off leash anywhere in the city I live in. And I also know that they're not supposed to be on the school grounds. But when I was a kid, when we first moved here, I have this very specific memory of me and my sister going across the street to the school, and it's about a 2 square mile piece of property. It has a marsh and there's a wooded area, and it's a beautiful place actually. It was originally planted. This whole area was not just where the school grounds is as an arboretum uh, for the farmers to use, like on picnic days and stuff like that. But they also used it to grow burlwood, which is why there is so many hardwoods planted back here. There's a lot of massive pin oaks and English oaks. I someday I'm going to go back there and photograph them, and I'll do a whole blog post on the trees because they're massive. I mean, they're huge, huge trees, and they're like friends to me. Me and my sister, like I said, we one night when not long after we moved here, we moved to this house in um, December. It was snowing, and so we put on snowsuits and we went back there, and it was like we were Lewis and Clark discovering this area for the first time. So I feel sort of an ownership over it, which isn't true. I mean, it does belong to the school, but for years and years and years and years, and this is when I was a kid, and then I moved to New York City, and then I returned here again. Um, there was hardly ever anybody went back there, and I used to think that it was kind of sad because it's a beautiful place. Like it's a great place to have a picnic, and because it's just the hardwoods and grass. Like this, they keep the scrub trees cut down, most of it, and but then people started to use it, and I realized that it was much, much better when people were kind of afraid to go back there. They put in a disc golf course, so more people go back there. And so as that has started to happen, I used to run my dogs back there in the afternoons at least once a day. But I stopped doing that because there's just too many people back there, and they bring their dogs, and it's just not, just not a good thing. My dogs are generally friendly with other dogs, or they used to be when they were off leash. But that has changed in recent years because there's more dogs around here. There's more first-time dog owners. I see a lot more people walking their dogs, and they don't, and then they don't really know what they're doing. A lot of them. There seems to be this thing where they tie their dogs out in front of their house, and I think they think they're socializing the dog. I don't get where this comes from, but that's actually a way to make your dog aggressive, is to tie it out in front and let things go past it. Like that'll make a dog aggressive faster than anything. So, anyways, the other night, I generally don't let my dogs off the leash or go behind the school or anywhere in that area unless, like I don't feel well or something like that. But it's generally after 9 p.m. Usually, especially when it's cold out, I usually don't run into anybody back there after dark. A lot of people are afraid to go back there. There are coyotes. I've seen them a number of times. So this night I wasn't feeling really well. My one poodle loves to play walking fetch, which is where you walk and you throw the toy and you keep walking toward it. He loves that. He won't really play fetch in the backyard because we can't walk. But so I took the dogs over there. It was about, I think I left my house around 8:30. I go back there. It's dark. There's no moon. The picture in the blog post I know shows a very bright moon, but that was last October. I think it was a super moon, actually. I think it was the last super moon that we had, and it was very bright. But there was no lights back there, nothing. Like you can't really see, you know, that far. I mean, you can see shapes and movement, like if some in movement you can see. That's how I usually tell where my dogs are because I can see them moving. Even my black poodle, I can see him usually. But so I'm walking back there and I see this thing like run past like run from, the one side of the school grounds toward my dogs. And my first thought was it was a coyote. So I immediately took a deep calming breath because the last thing you want to do is yell or anything like that because that'll start a big old fight or it'll cause them to attack whatever it is. Because it didn't take me long, it didn't take me, but a second maybe to realize that it was not a coyote. Coyotes generally don't charge a domestic dog. They'll usually hang back and watch, and then if you clap your hands, they take off. And I clap my hands, and the coyote in the dog. I figured out pretty quickly it was a dog, and I thought it was a stray dog. It was light in color. That's all I could tell about it. And so I was like, well, I'll just maybe turn around calmly, and my dogs will follow, and they'll leave the other dog alone. Thinking it's a stray dog. And then I hear this voice like off to my left somewhere, and it says, "I'm sorry," and I realize, oh, it's somebody else running their dogs back here, in the school grounds. So I say, a couple seconds go by, and I say, I think they're okay. Because they were at first. Like the dog come over, and I believe it was Gigi, Charming, and Henry, I believe were all together. I could be wrong about that because Henry might not have been with them. He's harder to see. And they seem to be getting along just fine. And then the woman calls Hunter, and I think she called with a little bit, maybe for her might have been a yell. I was thankful she didn't yell. But maybe for her that's a yell. And then the next thing I know, there's a big old scuffle going on. I wouldn't say it was an all-out dog fight because I don't think that's what it was. What I think happened, and I could be wrong, was that the other dog grabbed Gigi, like either on her shoulder or her front leg. And because she generally doesn't start a fight, but she'll finish it. If the other dog grabs her, bites her, whatever, that's it. She's, going full tilt. So I think she might have grabbed his back leg, and I didn't see if the dog was injured. The woman disappeared as quickly as she appeared. I got my dogs on their leashes. Henry was already on his leash when the scuffle broke out, and like I said, there was just like a lot of yelping, and that was it. And I don't know. I couldn't tell if it was Gigi or the other dog. I was pretty sure it wasn't Gigi. I know the sound she makes. So anyways, the woman disappeared. I would have told her right then and there, hey, my dogs have all their shots. Does your dog have its shots? Because I couldn't tell if Gigi was bit or not either, or the poodles. But the poodles generally don't get bit. Poodles, their hair protects them quite a bit, and they have a thick hide. So usually in a fight, the poodles won't have any marks on them, but the other dog will. Except when it's two poodles, and then all bets are off. So anyway, she disappears. So I go on with my walk. I let the dogs off their leash. I continued to play fetch with Charming. That's why I don't think Charming was the one that had the scuffle with the dog, because he also was playing fetch and he had his toy with him. So I could be wrong though. Like I said, it was very dark out there. So anyways, I go on with the walk, and I'm thinking, well, gee, maybe if I'll watch her posts on like our neighborhood nextdoor.com, and I'll just let them know, hey, it was that my dogs have their shots, whatever. And because you're actually not supposed to have your dogs off leash back there. So when you make the choice to take your dog off leash and something like that happens, it is not the other person's fault. It's your fault because it's your dog. And I've always accepted that. It's not the first time that my dogs have got into a scuffle back there with another dog. Generally, Generally generally they get along. I mean, there's a lady that runs two doodles back there and another dog, and I feel like the doodles are a little bit on the aggressive side, but I've never had like a fight break out or anything like that with them. And then there was another dog that they used to play with back there named Isabella, and there was Mocha. There was like quite a few dogs that I've encountered back there and never really had an issue. But there's more dogs around here, as I said, than ever before. And I would say last 2 years, my dogs have been attacked on their leashes in my subdivision at least 5 times. This makes six, but I wouldn't really count this because I had my dogs off leash, she had her dog off leash, so how are they not going to make contact? But when you're walking like down a street and there's like a populated street, um, and a dog pops out of nowhere and attacks your dog that's on a 6 foot leash, that's a whole different thing. But I had my dogs pretty well trained not to react to other dogs, but since this has happened and the one attack, Gigi lost her tooth when she grabbed a hold of the dog, and I'm sure she injured the other dog, but she was on a leash and the other dog wasn't. The dog ran toward her. She didn't run toward it. She was on a 6 foot leash, but it caused a break. Her canine broke off at the gum line. So the dog, and I'm sure she hurt the dog. I mean, I'm absolutely certain of it. And the guy, I tried to contact him several times, and he never acknowledged it or, called, because me and him both shouted back and forth to each other that our respective dogs all had their shots. So, but in that case, he was responsible because he opened his garage door and he didn't even see me before his dog had made contact with my 3 dogs, and actually only Gigi. The poodles never got involved in it. So anyways, so I come home, walk the dogs, come home, finish up some work, go to bed about 11 o'clock, and then I wake up around midnight, and I think it was because the light on my phone came on, but I saw that my phone was lit up, so I looked to see, if it's a message, and at first it didn't dawn on me that it wasn't a text message, that it was Facebook Messenger, and it's from a Matt Demansky, and I'm like, who the heck is Matt Demansky? And it was like, are your dogs all up in their shots? My dog was the one they bit, and something else. The text was fairly aggressive. I guess I could read it, but I was like, who is Matt Demansky and why is he texting me? The person with the dog was a woman. So, and I'm like, why is this person texting me? And then it dawned on me when I realized that it was through Facebook Messenger that it was the guy that ran for the school board. I don't know if he's on the school board, was on the school board or what, but he run for the school board. I thought he got elected, but I could be wrong. So anyways, I'm like, I'm not going to tell somebody that I don't know who's texting me after midnight fairly aggressively that was my dogs, like is he going to come to my house? I wasn't sure, so I just pretended it wasn't me. And so he keeps texting, and then he starts threatening me that he knows Principal Gill at Seats Middle School, and he's going to get pictures, and then we'll know who it is, and he's going to paste them up on social media and everything. And I'm like, so now he's threatening me. And the thing is he's a bully. Okay, those are bullying tactics. He's even used, why are you calling my wife a liar? It's like, no, I actually didn't respond to that because I wasn't calling his wife a liar. I'm pretty sure she believed that it was me. But the thing is he wasn't there, okay? And I don't know how his wife could tell that I had 2 poodles and a brown dog, because the only thing that I could tell you from that encounter about her dog, which was off leash, was that it was light in color. I couldn't tell you what kind of dog it was. It was about the size of my dogs. It wasn't a small dog. I knew that. But I couldn't tell, exactly how big a dog it was. It's actually was a lot larger dog than what I had thought, when I seen it. But so anyways, he just keeps going on and on and on. Now, this person, doesn't live very far from me, and I walk past her house all the time. In fact, their dog is the reason I no longer walk down that street, because very often it's out in their front yard, loose or tied up. Why people tie their dogs in their front yard, I will never know. But I've seen the dog several times. It's a large golden lab, or yeah, golden lab, the smooth one. So it's not a golden retriever. It's a golden lab, I believe, or yellow lab they call them. So anyways, he texted me the next day telling me that the dog was really badly bitten, needed stitches, had to have a drain, and that he got the pictures from Principal Gill, which I'm like, okay, so when I've contacted the school before about getting surveillance footage from their cameras, they told me that only law enforcement, or if it's an issue of school security, can they access the cameras. Like, it's not for like personal use or private use, right? So if he in fact did get pictures from Principal Gill, that is a horrible abuse of power, because, look how easily this person provided images from the school security cameras. Just because the guy asked him. Riverview has long been a boys club, and that's what I think it is. This guy's a bully. Oh, he's going to get his buddies to help him. Oh, big man, going after a single woman with 3 dogs, Yeah, that's a big man, And so my plan was actually to call the police during business hours the next day and make a report of the incident, because I could tell this guy was just gonna be a jackass, and I had no obligation actually to tell him anything at all. Like, in fact, I feel like I wish I had not responded to the message in any way, shape, or form. I wish I would have just, just blocked it, like, from the beginning. And so I call the police. I tell them what happened. I admit my dogs were off leash. I've actually talked to the police about this before. And, their feeling, before was that as long as it's not during school hours. And I would never take my dogs back there during school hours. I don't take them back there anymore during the daylight. Okay. Generally, I take them early in the morning, but I don't think I'm going to take them back there anymore at all. As much as I trained them all back there. They all do agility and that. I trained them on the logs back there. Taught them to jump, recall, everything, because like I said, it's a very special place to me. So anyways, I make a report to the police. They say what I knew they were going to say was that, it doesn't matter if the dogs were leashed or unleashed, but generally, if your dog is leashed and another dog is unleashed, it's almost always the fault of the person with the unleashed dog. But in this case, neither dog was supposed to be on the school grounds. So if they were leashed or unleashed, it doesn't matter. Both parties should actually be issued a ticket, but because the police didn't witness it, they're not going to do that. Well, unless the issue is pushed, then they might. And I said, that's fine. I'll pay the fine, whatever. So I made the report, and then I told Mr. Demansky that it was me. He starts going on about, oh, you lied about this and you lied about that and blah, 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 as bullies always do. Okay. And I said, and what I told him was I had good reason to lie. Okay. You come on with these aggressive texts. You start threatening me right away. What am I supposed to do? We were both wrong. Okay. Me and his wife, because he wasn't there. And then he starts questioning when I told him exactly what happened. He's like, oh, well, you lied about this and that. And I said, no, your dog charged my dogs. Okay. I'm not saying that started the fight, but your dog was off his leash and he charged at my dogs. Okay. And, but it's my fault if my dogs, because my old dog, my 12-year-old dog Gigi, she did get hurt, but there was no skin broken or anything like that. She just, I think the, like I said, I think the dog might have like pulled her leg up and she was favoring it a little bit the next day, but she was fine the day after that. She seemed fine. So, you know, he was all upset. So I just blocked him, because people like that, like bullies, are just not ever going to listen. But then today, March 26, 2023, I drive past his house coming home from running my dogs out at London Sand, or what we call the pit. It's the Crystal Waters State Land Preserve, I think is the official name of it, but it used to be London Sand. It's in London Township. I see his dog out in front of his house, off a leash. His wife is across the street. I don't know what she was doing, but she's across the street. Dog has no leash on. Didn't have any stitches. Wasn't favoring his back leg. There was no drain. There was no shaved area. So I don't think his dog was hurt at all. And I also don't think he has pictures. But I wish I hadn't told him it was me, because I would have loved it if he would have posted the photos, because I'm sure that the superintendent of schools and the parents of kids that go to that school would probably be interested to know how easily he was able to obtain photos from the school security system. I think that really is the worst part of it. I was wrong, his wife was wrong, but what he did, threatening me with that, and if he did get those pictures, that's worse. That's much, much worse. Because who else are they giving pictures to or doing favors for? But at the end of the day, I was wrong. I don't think I'll take my dogs back there anymore. It's just getting too crazy. There's too many people back there. And but at the end of the day, as I've learned to sort of, not let myself react to strange dogs, I think I need to not react to bullies, because I think that just gives them what they want. And I wish in this case I hadn't. I went against my instincts, and I regret it. Thank you.